I'm Safa. Nice things are nicer than the nasty one. Doing whatever you wanted to do is the only training or preliminary need of doing what you wanted to do. The novel Lucky Jim by Kingsley Amis, written in 1954. It tells the story of the Jim who is an history lecturer at the British University in the 1915th century, and he navigates the academic snobbery and the unpleasant girlfriend and the difficult boss that ultimately leads to find a good love and a new career.
Okay, let's introduce the author, that is Kingsley Amis. So, Kingsley Amis was a world-renowned English novelist, poet, critic, and an educator who gained popularity with his most famous work, Lucky Jim, that written in 1954, which popularized the one of the most world-renowned movement, that is Angry Young Man movement. So, Amis was a prolific and a controversial author of more than 20 novels, poems, and criticism. He gained notoriety for his witty remarks, strong political opinions, and public presence, which frequently took precedence over his writing. So, he received a Booker Prize in 1986. Some of his major works include Lucky Jim, that written in 1954. Another work is Tasting, that is written in 1978. And another example is that Take a Girl Like You, it is written in 1916. That was some of the major works of Kingsley Amis. Next, I'm gonna give you some idea about this presentation. The first section describes the introduction, an introduction section. That means an introduction to the novel Lucky Jim. The second section describes the themes that include in this novel. Then the third one is the analysis, and the fourth one is the conclusion. The novel Lucky Jim, written by Kingsley Amis in 1954. The novel first published in 1954 by Victor Gollancz. It was Amis' first novel and won the 1955 Somerset Maugham Award for Fiction. The novel follows the academic and romantic tribulations of the eponymous James Dixon, that means Jim, a reluctant history lecturer at an unnamed professional English university. So, the major characters are Jim Dixon, that means the main protagonist of the novel, then Margaret Peel. Margaret Peel is the lover of Jim Dixon, and Ned Wells. Ned Wells is the professor that Jim works, and Bertram Wells. Bertram Wells is the son of the Wells. Next one is the Christian Callaghan, that means the lover of the Bertram Wells, and Julius Gore Oregon is the uncle of the Christian Callaghan, and Carol Goldsmith, he is the Bertrand, another lover. One of the famous writer, W. Somerset Maugham, he says that Mr. Kingsley Amis is so talented, his observation is so keen that you cannot fail to be convinced that the young man he so brilliantly described truly represent the class with which his novel is concerned. They have no manners and are woefully unable to deal with any social predicament. Another important writer, Christopher Hitchens, says that the novel Lucky Jim is the funniest book of the second half of the 20th century. So, now let's discuss some of the themes that included in this novel Lucky Jim. The first one is that the satire of the academic and cultural pretensions. The novel's primary setting, the professional university, is used to satirize the intellectual snobbery, hypocrisy, and mediocrity. So, Jim Dixon, that means the protagonist, feel deep contempt for the affected high culture of his colleagues, such as the Professor Wells, literary folk music, and art and culture weekend. His internal thoughts and physical phases of loathing are a key comedic device for exposing this phoniness. So, Jim himself is a mediocre history lecturer who dislikes his subject and views the entire system as an absolute and self-important institution. So, the next theme is that the class and social mobility. Lucky Jim is an important novel in post-war British literature that highlights the struggle between the old entrenched class system and the new meritocratic opportunities. So, Jim's success at the end is a less reward for the merit and more a consequence of his unfiltered honesty and luck. Thanks to the wealthy but unpretentious industrialist Gord Urquhart, this suggests that genuine connection and straightforwardness are more valuable than adherence to the shifting social codes. The third theme is that the rebellion. Jim Dixon's rebellion is largely a private and involuntary refusal to conform to the pretentious and hypocritical standard of the university elite, particularly Professor Wells and his uncle. The last theme is that angry young man movement. That is one of most notable movements, and it was a group of British writers mainly in the 19th century. They expressed their disillusionment with the post-World War society. So, through the plays and novels featuring working class protagonists. That's all. So, let's discuss the satire on social class, personal aspiration, and academics and total absurdity of the modern life. The novel, that means Lucky Jim, explores the rigid class structures in post-war Britain, especially to the protagonist, Lucky Jim. He is hailing from a lower class, so he faced many challenges in academia, like characters like Wells and his son Bertram embody upper classes. Also, the novel criticized the pretension and the false values of the upper and middle class, especially within the academy. So, the Wells family, Wells and his wife, that means Margaret, favoring traditional madrigals and realistic painting. They are obsessed with maintaining their social class, and they also work with the narrow definition of high culture. And also his son, that means Wells' son, Bertrand, attempts to portray himself as an avant-garde artist. His efforts are shown to be hollow and pretentious, also satirizing the superficiality of the class he belongs to. And also, the novel critiques the contrast between high-minded ideals of academia and the actual behaviors of its practitioners. Also, Amis uses the professional university to critique the class-based hierarchies. The disillusion history lectures serve as a primary vehicle for exposing his pretension. Then, Professor Wells' ambition is not for genuine scholarship, but for an established position of culture, authority, and patronage. He presides over a world of Amish race, studies, and high culture, which he uses to signal his elevated status. This aspiration is a ridicule as dull, self-important, and disconnected from genuine artistic merit. And the professional university where Jim works serve as a microcosm of post-war Britain, where supposed bastions of intellect are actually monuments to inefficiency and social climbing. The academic job itself is absurd. That means Jim, a lecturer in medieval history, hates his subject and is aware that his work such as writing an article on the economic influence of the development in shipbuilding techniques 1415 and 1485 is a meaningless and irrelevant. His effort to publish it are not driven by scholarship but by a desperate, anxious attempt to confirm and secure his employment. That's all. The novel suggests that this stuffy, hypocritical establishment is ultimately self-defeating and irrelevant. Jim is fired for his most genuine act, his drunken, explosive, and honest lecture that utterly destroyed the romanticized myth of Merry England. But this catastrophic failure is immediately transformed into a driven escape. So, Jim Lucky's reward for his refusal to fully assimilate. He is liberated from his unloved job, his manipulative partner, and the tedious class rituals he despised. In the end, Aramis champions the cynical but authentic voice of the common man over the empty pretension of the elite, demonstrating that in the face of profound social and intellectual absurdity, the only sane response is condemn, honors, and a lucky excess. That's all. Thank you.